Hello everyone and welcome to something a little bit different than what we've normally done on these videos. Today I just want to take a couple seconds to talk about the channel because actually as of the 11th of November, which is about 2 days ago according to the current time, or about a day ago if you count the fact that I record this, this is my video that I'm recording for the 12th, even though due to my upload schedule that means it goes up on the 13th and that's actually when I'm recording it. It is, my video that I'm actually making for the 12th of November. And so today I just want to talk about the channel because as of that date, November 11th, it has been 6 months since I started making videos on here. When I first started out, I was doing occasional videos, a couple times a week I would post something. Nowadays, it's been once a day, at least, something. I do want to try to get a little more common use of multiple videos in a day. Um, Honestly, there are a couple things that have kind of held me back from that. I do plan on trying to make that work though, because I would really, really enjoy having more content put up. And also, if you've been following this channel, you know that lately it has been almost exclusively Spelunky, which is something I want to move away from. I would like to have something that's kind of a consistent series like that, but I also want to get back to showing off more games. Now, part of the problem with that is, 6 months and I've only got 30 subscribers, which I don't really care about. If anybody watches my videos, I'm happy about that. If I can even entertain someone for a half an hour in a day, that is more than worth the time that I put into making the videos. And more than worth the effort of setting everything up, trying to figure out the lag issues I had there for a while. All that is worth it if even, a single person watches a video. And it doesn't matter if it's the day I posted or if it's, months in the future someone comes back and watches this video that I posted. If somebody watches it, it was worth it. But at the same time, being such a small channel, I'm always kind of paranoid about asking developers for codes to show off their games. Um, I have done it before, and actually I've had overwhelmingly good response to it. I think there was one developer who I won't mention who just completely blew me off once they saw my channel, um, which kind of made sure that I wasn't going to get their game at all. Well, I can understand, not wanting to give a code to a small channel because you can't ensure that um, the code that you gave away, you can't guarantee that you're going to get a sale back for that. So I understand, not wanting to give a code to a smaller channel. But I also feel like, you already have an email correspondence going on because he had replied to me once asking for my channel, which was already in the signature of my email. But I figured they might have those set not to show, so, I just replied with my channel, hey, I had it in my signature, I don't know if you have that turned off, but, here's my channel, put in the link. And then I never heard back from him again. And that to me is just, there's a difference between saying I can't give you a code because you're a small channel and just completely blowing someone off and telling them, or essentially implying to them that they aren't worth your time to respond to even. Especially for a smaller developer, which in this case it was. Um, but other than that, I've had overwhelmingly good response when I've asked for, review codes or something. I got the, or what was I gonna say? Sorry. If you follow my videos, I occasionally get lost in my train of thought and have to find my way back to it. But, I've gotten codes for several games. I gotta try out Race the Sun because of that. I gotta try out, Crypt of the Necrodancer in the current alpha build. I got a code for Papers, Please that allowed me to show off that and do my one actual review, so to speak, where I actually sat down and talked about the game as a whole instead of just doing impressions and commentary on what I'm seeing. I got a code for Dungeon Dashers more recently, which I still want to put a bit more up, at least on the channel, because that is a really fun game that I've kind of pulled away from more than I would like to. But as a whole, being a bit paranoid about that and the fact that I have been kind of stuck unemployed for the last 3 months or so is kind of making it difficult for me to continue to provide new, fresh games into videos. I would love to have a lot more consistency with new games, but at the same time being kind of self-conscious about asking developers for codes, not just because I'm a small channel and I don't know if they'll give it to me, but because in a lot of ways I feel kind of bad asking for a code, knowing that they might not get any kind of sale out of it that they wouldn't have gotten anyway. Um, if I were a bit bigger, that would be a bit less of a worry for me. But when it comes to being a 30 subscriber channel, and occasionally my videos have done really good. I mean, my first Volgar video has 200 plus views, which compared to everything else on my channel is extraordinary. Um, but in general, my videos don't get very many views. So there is a part of me that actually feels legitimately bad asking developers for codes, knowing that I might not be able to make a difference in their sales to make up for that code, and knowing that without a job, which is the situation I'm in currently, I can't even, pick up a code and gift it to someone, do a giveaway to try to, spread the game out there. And so, I mean, I do want to start kind of inquiring a bit more, because I do want to show off more content. I think that that will help the channel grow and help me to have the ability to give you guys and others an idea of games I'm playing, what I think of them, and if I think that they're worth your time as well. Um, but at the same time, like I said, it, games I don't know as well or that aren't as highly publicized, they're if they're not getting the publicity from bigger channels, then at the same time I kind of worry if they aren't getting enough publicity to where they're going to have great sales at the time. And so as much as my video might help that a little bit, at the same time I do feel a bit bad to jump into that and take a potential sale for a game that I would have bought because it looked interesting, and maybe none of my viewers buy it and it turns out to be a loss for them, and I feel bad about that. These people pour a lot of time into their games, and everything that I've gotten a code for has been a game that I really enjoyed. So there is kind of a disconnect between what I want to do for channel growth and for getting the word out there about more games, and how I feel about what it does to the developers in the situation where I can't guarantee them that giving me a copy is going to do anything for them. Other than that, I do have several games that I do want to show off, that I just haven't gotten around to making videos on. Like I said, I want to try to get a little bit more quantity of content out there. Obviously, I am a bit limited by the fact that I'm on a laptop right now. I would love to get a full gaming PC and be able to, do the editing work, record these with something, a little bit more robust than OBS, not have lag issues in games that are not that intensive, be able to play more intensive games. All those things are things I would love to do, but first things first, for that, I need to be able to get a good gaming PC, which is one of several things I want to put some effort into saving for once I get a job. There are several things in that category, and quite frankly, I'm not sure if that's even at the top of the list. Depending on how some things resolve, I could guarantee it wouldn't be the top of the list. But if they resolve differently, then it could also be at near the top of the list. Either way, it is something that I want to do, because I do want to get something together where I can improve video quality, where I can improve the content on this channel. Because I enjoy doing this, I really do. There have been a few days where I really haven't felt like recording. There have been days where I'm not having the greatest of a day, and I feel like a recording that I make will not be up to par. And on those days, I either have a backlog that I've got ready to post up, or, occasionally I'll miss a day because of that. And, I need to get better about that. I need to get better about building a backlog. But in general, Spelunky was my ongoing series for a while, and I wanted to do a daily challenge in every video, so I couldn't record that more than once a day. And now I'm in this kind of disconnect where the old strategy I had for games, like, when I was playing Volgar, I recorded more than one episode of that a day normally. Whereas Spelunky has so overwhelmingly taken over the channel for a while, being one video a day, being one daily challenge a day, was, it has thrown me off from recording multiple videos in a day. Not only for posting on the channel at once, but also for the sake of being able to have a backlog and have something for if I don't feel like recording for a day. The other thing is streaming, which is something that I did for my birthday. I've done it a little bit more recently lately. I do want to spend some more time streaming. I'm trying to figure out exactly how I want to do that. Um, when I stream, I don't feel like an hour stream is good enough. I don't want to start up a stream and then an hour later end it like it was a video length. I think a stream is something that should be going on for longer than that. And so, without setting myself up to a solid schedule, which is something I really should do, a lot of times I feel like if I am going to stream, there's worry that if something's going to come up that's going to call me away from it, I'm going to have to stop it early, or if there is, a possibility of dinner in the middle of the time that it would be going on. And I don't know if it's going to be dinner or not, but it might be. Those kind of things cause me to back off from streaming because I want to make sure that I can put up a decently long stream. And when I have doubts in my head about if I'm going to be able to, essentially what it does is it causes me to, instead of trying anyway, a lot of times I just say, I don't want to do a stream that's not worth it. I don't want to let people come out for a stream to talk to me live and everything down by, being there for an hour and a half, and then having to go. And so a lot of times that turns into me just dropping it, me not doing the stream. And, I want to get better about that. I want to be a more consistent streamer. Quite frankly, streaming is really fun in its own right. Videos and streaming are two entirely different things. To anyone out there who has not tried to do both of them, you would be amazed at the difference between the two. Not the least of which from paying attention to your chat and watching for comments, watching for questions, trying to respond and have that interaction with your viewers directly. It really does create a different atmosphere that also encourages you to do a lot worse in games when you're not used to it because you're focusing on the chat and not fully focusing on the game. If you watched my Spelunky stream for my birthday that I posted up, or I believe I may have put up another Spelunky stream, I don't know, but I know I have a Twitch VOD of it if I don't. But if you watch either of those, you'll see me failing in a lot more noticeable ways than I do on videos. And I fail a lot on videos too. But a lot of that comes from, I'm trying to play the game and move and watch the chat at the same time. And that creates an entirely different beast than just keeping up a conversation with yourself, which is something I can do a lot easier now than I did to begin with. That's another thing to mention is my video quality I feel has not changed very much due to not having new equipment or anything, but the commentary has certainly grown in quality since then, because I am so much more used to giving it, so much more used to talking my thoughts out while I play a game, that it has definitely vastly improved. There is still plenty of room for improvement, but I am happy that I am making progress on that front. What else do I want to talk about here? Going forward, like I said, I enjoy doing this. It is something that I absolutely like to sit down and do day in and day out. So there's nothing, the fact that I don't have that many subscribers yet, the fact that, outside of my Volgarr videos, I don't have anything that's broken 100, or I think I have my one video on Sky Nations, which is a game I have to get back to at some point, because there have been a lot of updates since I last played it. But that one and my Volgarr videos, I believe, are the only two series that have broken 100 views. Like I said, though, that doesn't bug me. I enjoy doing this. Most of my videos get at least a couple views, and that's enough for me to keep going. I do hope to go bigger because, like I said, I do have a desire to help to kind of give people an idea about games that are coming out. There is, between Greenlight opening up, for for those of you who are unaware, Greenlight has become a much quicker system. Still not, guaranteed that you're going to get through, but it has definitely become something that happens a lot quicker and in much larger batches than it used to. And that means that there are a lot more games out there, both on Steam, not to mention the fact that there are a huge amount of games day in and day out on, Humble or Desura or whatever other distribution platform you want to name off. Indie Game Store is a newer one that opened up where, I haven't looked into it too much because I have not had a job or money, which has kind of limited me from buying games. But at the same time, it is definitely something that has made some progress. We also had the Not on Steam sale a while back, where a bunch of indie developers got together and did a sale together, much like a Steam sale, but for games that are not on Steam. That was really awesome. I wish I had had a job so I could have taken advantage of more of those sales. But at the same time, my point here is that there are a huge number of games coming out right now. And I feel like I have personally even run into some that, I haven't seen much coverage on bigger channels. They look really interesting to me, and, I would love to show them off and give them some type of coverage. Obviously the bigger ones too. Spelunky, obviously everyone knows. Crypt of the Necrodancer, I've done a few previews on. Everybody knows about that game by this point. What is another one that I've shown off that is kind of a big name? Volgar was actually kind of a big name in the gaming circles after its appearance at PAX. A lot of people were talking about it. That's why I was interested in it and why I entered a giveaway, which is how I eventually got my code pre-release and allowed myself to start making content on that before the game came out. But, there are the bigger games I cover too, because they're the ones that I'm more likely to hear about. But I do want to kind of at least have some games on there too that people might not be as familiar with, because I feel like there are these days a lot of indie developers who kind of don't get noticed when they deserve to. They put out high quality work, they put a ton of effort into this thing, and it just doesn't get the press because there aren't enough big names who are interested in it. So part of me wants to grow, because not for my own personal gain, but because I feel like if I did, it would be a much easier time to show off a lot of those smaller games or those less known games on top of the more well known ones, and give you guys a more... Obviously, I can't give you an exhaustive list of indie games and what's worth your time and what's not, because that is an impossible task to keep up with for any one person. In fact, in a lot of ways, it's very hard for even the entire gaming media, YouTube combination to keep up with the sheer amount of indie games that are released day in and day out. But I do want to try to help people to get ideas on these games, get ideas on things that they might not have heard about otherwise. So I do want to get larger. There are things I might need to do in order to make that happen, which I am still considering, trying to figure out what exactly I should do. But a lot of it comes down to a lot of it comes down to a matter of, I need to find some way to set my channel apart in order to get that subscriber gain that will eventually allow me to do that for you guys. In the meantime, I'm going to continue doing my best to do so. I do kind of want to start, like I said, branching out a bit more, showing off more than I have. But as a whole, I feel like I'm going to move away from doing, just one video let's play a day of a game that, is everywhere, which is the case with Spelunky. It has been everywhere since its release on PC, because a lot of people were hyped for that who don't have 360s, who couldn't play the arcade release, and it has definitely been a huge bit of popularity in terms of media circles. And so, having a video of that each day was probably not the best decision for getting myself noticed. But at the same time, it was a game that I have been and still do have a whole lot of fun playing. And so it became a nice way for me to play a game that by a certain point enough people know what's going on to where I could just sit back and talk, and if it didn't necessarily relate to what was going on in the game, it wasn't as big of a deal as with something that is lesser known or that I haven't played as much before. So it became kind of a nice bastion of a way for me to just talk my way through a game. Regardless, another thing I want to do is, as we approach the end of the year, I do want to put together a personal Game of the Year list out of games I've played, games that deserve high praise, games that, maybe fell a bit short of expectations. That's something I want to do coming up soon. Obviously waiting till a little bit closer to the end of the year. But, I have played a decent amount of AAA games, not a huge amount like I used to, but a few of them that I can toss in there as well. But it's going to be mainly focused on indies that I feel deserve special mention on the channel. One thing that I do want to say preempting that is that I am going to limit it to things that are currently in a release version. So something like Paranautical Activity, or what's another one that's a good example? Crypt of the Necrodancer, if it's not released by the end of the year in full. Those things that, aren't released in full, even though I've played them, even though I've shown them off, even though I have high opinions of them, I want to wait until they have a full release to start comparing them to things, instead of trying to compare an alpha or a beta that is not complete, not feature complete, not, design complete. I don't want to compare those to games that are fully released. Even if I had a lot of fun with them, I want to stick with games that have been fully released in this year as the criteria for me putting them into candidacy for that. So I think that's about all that I wanted to talk about for right now. I hope that you guys who have been following my channel continue to enjoy my content. Like I said, as long as even one person watches my video and has fun with it, that's more than enough for me to be happy with it. So those of you who do watch my videos, I hope you continue to watch them. If you guys have any suggestions, any feedback, any suggestions on games, ways to change up my videos to make things better, just in general, if you guys have any suggestions for me, feel free to leave them in the comments. If you don't have access to comments because you refuse to get a Google Plus account, which is a whole different beast that I'm not going to even try to tame in this video, feel free to hit me up in a private message. If you want to, you can hit me up on Twitter. We can work out a way to communicate from there more thoroughly if need be. There are plenty of ways that you can get a hold of me. I don't think I've mentioned my Twitter account on this channel, which is, well, it's in my About section, but it's not actually mentioned in any of my videos, I think. But of course, it's at MendosMan8 if you do want to use Twitter to get a hold of me. But yeah, for now, I am going to leave this video be. Like I said, any kind of comments, suggestions, questions related to the games I've played, games that you think I should play, ways to make videos better, opinions on how my videos are and what needs changed about them, anything like that, anything at all, feel free to let me know. Like I said, any means that you can if you don't have the ability to comment. For now, thank you guys as always for watching. I know I've just talked to you for 24 minutes now with no gameplay, just me talking, and I know that's not the most exciting thing, so I am glad you have stuck around this long. But yeah, for now, thank you guys as always, and take care, and I will see you tomorrow with a new video on some game or another. Later, everyone.